Pedestrian.tv has teamed up with Paramount Plus to get you hyped for the next installment in the Yellowstone franchise 1923 starring Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. The Yellowstone franchise continues its expanded universe with its most recent prequel series 1923, which explores the second generation of Duttons as they weather a storm of tragedy while building their ranch. Because the Dutton family is vast, with so many members all called John Dutton, making the mental mind map of the family can feel like unweaving timelines in a time travel show. Yellowstone has always alluded to the sins of the father, with the actions of the previous generation impacting generations down the line. In 1883 we are told of a seven-generation prophecy that the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch will be returned to its original owners. With that prophecy coming to a head, we're starting to predict the end game of the series. To help understand the entire Dutton family history, we've mapped out the Dutton family tree so you don't get too lost when watching 1923 and wondering where everyone is. Beware, major spoilers for Yellowstone, 1883 and 1923 ahead. Image, Jacob Dutton, Harrison Ford, James Dutton, Tim McGraw, and Cara Dutton, Helen Mirren. James Dutton, Tim McGraw. James is the center patriarch of the entire Dutton family and the one who would eventually discover the Yellowstone Ranch. Claire Dutton, Dawn Olivieri, sister to James Dutton, she joined her family on their journey west with her daughter Mary Abel. After her daughter is murdered on the trail and consumed by grief, Claire Dutton dies of suicide. Margaret Dutton, Faith Hill, wife to James Dutton. Margaret passes a year after James Dutton due to the winter. Jacob Dutton, Harrison Ford. After the passing of James Dutton, Margaret wrote to Jacob and his wife to come to the Yellowstone Ranch and help establish it. After the death of his brother and his wife, Jacob would take his brother's sons, John and Spencer, and raise them as his own while overseeing the ranch throughout Prohibition and the Great Depression. Cara Dutton, Helen Mirren, the wife of Jacob Dutton. Cara is an Irish immigrant that becomes the matriarch of the Dutton family in 1923. Despite seeming frail, we see Cara get her hands dirty both on and off the ranch, from cleaning stables to firing double-barreled shotguns into her enemies. Image, Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklenar, John Dutton I, James Bridgedale, and Elsa Dutton, Isabel May. Elsa Dutton, Isabel May, the eldest child of James and Margaret Dutton. She is also the narrator for both 1883 and 1923 thanks to her knowledge of the Dutton family history. After being shot with an infected arrow, Elsa eventually passed away under a tree that would eventually become the Yellowstone Ranch. John Dutton I, Audie Rick, Jack Michael Doak, James Badgedale, the son of James and Margaret Dutton, and is the brother to Elsa and Spencer. We only see him as a wee lad in 1883, however, in 1923, he is a grown man, working alongside his uncle Jacob and preserving the ranch. He eventually married Emma Dutton and had one son, John Dutton II, who goes by Jack. Emma Dutton, Marley Shelton. Not much is known about Emma besides her being the wife to John Dutton I and being the mother to Jack Dutton. Spencer Dutton, Charlie Stover, Brandon Sklenar, the youngest child of the second generation of Duttons. Spencer grew up on the ranch before leaving to fight in World War I. Living with the horror of the war, Spencer took off on a journey to Africa to become a world-renowned hunter. Mary Abel Dutton, Emma Malouf, daughter of Claire Dutton. Mary is unfortunately killed in a gunfight near the beginning of the Oregon Trail. Image, Jack Dutton, Darren Mann, and Elizabeth Dutton. Michelle Randolph. John, Jack, Dutton II, Darren Mann, son to John Dutton I and Emma Dutton, John Dutton II, who goes by Jack in 1923. Elizabeth Dutton, Michelle Randolph. Elizabeth Dutton would eventually marry Jack at some point in 1923, and would eventually have their child John Dutton Sr. Image, John Dutton III, Dabney Coleman. John Dutton III, Dabney Coleman. Not much is known about John Dutton III's life. His wife is unknown, and there have been hints that two of his children passed away at a young age due to tombstones found on the ranch. John Dutton III makes an appearance in Season 2 of Yellowstone, showing where his son learned his determination to preserve the ranch at all costs. Image, John Dutton IV, Kevin Costner, and Evelyn Dutton, Gretchen Mole. John Dutton IV, Kevin Costner, Josh Lucas, the son of John Dutton III and the leading anti-hero of Yellowstone. John is the modern-day patriarch and proprietor of the Yellowstone Ranch. He would marry his wife Evelyn and have 3 children, Lee, Beth, and Casey Dutton, while adopting Jamie Randall at a young age, raising him as their own. Evelyn Dutton, Gretchen Mole, the wife to John Dutton IV. Evelyn passes away after a horse-riding accident while riding with her daughter Beth. Peter Dutton, Yellowstone, the second son of John Dutton III. Peter, unfortunately, passed away shortly after birth. Garrett Randall, Yellowstone, the biological father of Jamie Dutton. Garrett was sentenced to prison at a young age, only to re-enter Jamie's life towards the end of Yellowstone Season 3. Image, Casey Dutton, Luke Grimes, Jamie Dutton, Wes Bentley, Lee Dutton, Dave Annable, and Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley Lee Dutton, Dave Annable, Kip Danton, the eldest son of John Dutton IV. While set to inherit the ranch from his father, Lee dies in a gunfight over land disputes with the Broken Ranch Reservation. Jamie Dutton, Wes Bentley, Dalton Baker, the second eldest son of John Dutton IV and Evelyn. Jamie was adopted by the Duttons as an infant after his father was arrested for murdering his mother. Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley, Kylie Rogers, daughter to John Dutton IV and Evelyn. Casey Dutton, Luke Grimes, Reese Alterman, the youngest of John Dutton IV and Evelyn's children. Casey is a bit of a rebel. After leaving the ranch, Casey eventually falls in love with Monica, a teacher from the Broken Rock Reservation. The two have one son together, Tate, who stands to take over the ranch one day. Monica Long, Kelsey Aspil, a teacher at the Broken Rock Reservation, a group of Native Americans that remains in conflict with the Duttons over land rights to their ancestral land. Monica and Casey had their first son Tate together. Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, taken in at an early age by John Dutton IV, Rip is the right-hand man to John Dutton IV, doing most of the dirty work for the family. Rip eventually marries Beth and adopts a young child Carter. Christina, Catherine Cunningham, wife to Jamie Dutton and mother of his child Jamie Dutton II, Christina is a fierce politician who aids Jamie in his campaign to bring down his family. Image, Carter, Finn Little, Tate Dutton, Brecken Merrill, Jamie Dutton II. Tate Dutton, Brecken Merrill, the first of Casey Dutton and Monica Long. Tate is the only living 7th-generation Dutton by blood. As both a Dutton and a Broken Rock ancestor, he has the biggest claim to the ranch. Tate could possibly be the most important Dutton in the family, as a prophecy predicts that in the 7th generation, the Duttons' land shall be returned to the Broken Rock family. Whether this prophecy comes true with Tate surrendering the land to his people, or just the possibility of him ending up being the eventual patriarch of the family, is still up to speculation. Jamie Dutton II, Yellowstone, the child of Jamie Dutton and Christina. Most notable for crying. Carter, Finn Little, after his dad dies in the hospital and is arrested for a misdemeanor, Beth takes guardianship over Carter and brings him to the ranch as a stable hand. John Dutton V, Yellowstone. John Dutton V was supposed to be Casey's and Monica's second child, however after Monica had a car crash on the way to the hospital while giving labor, the child passed away only an hour after being born. 1923 is streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus right now, so be sure to click here and start watching to get your cowboy fix in. Image.